Ha! Great game, great game. Oh, hey there, didn't see it. It's like, I was just playing me some video games, passing the time and whatnot, getting some ideas. Have you ever been playing a game and thought, man, I am massively overpowered at this game? You know, I spent so much time, supernatural dedication, hours and hours of monotonous grinding, random encounters, dungeon diving, all kinds of things. So much to the point that I've mastered this game. And I thought to myself, how is it that I can focus so intently on a video game and I can spend an incredible amount of time figuring out mechanics and quests and diving deep into the lore and things of that nature? And then I look at my own life, and alas, I am taken aback. You see, video games and life aren't so different. And yet, I haven't found the fulfilling and rewarding experiences in my own life substantial to that or equivalent to that of some of the games that I play. Why? So many games I play, I'm excited to tell people about it, tell people about the experiences, the different events that take place, the music, the people you meet, the memories. You know, what if life was a game? If I could treat life like a game, I think I could take it on. I could conquer it. But why can't you treat life like a game? What's stopping you from treating life like a game? I mean, the only thing I see stopping me is me. Wait a minute. Does that mean I'm the one that's in the way of my goals? Does that mean I'm the final boss of my life? Today I'm going to talk about the 3 things that you should do to enhance your life through gamification. Number 1, setting a goal. All video games come with a goal. You may not necessarily know what they are at the beginning, but eventually you figure out what the overarching goal of the video game is, what the main final plot of the game is, what you're supposed to be doing as that character, what your character is aspiring to do before the end of their life, before their HP runs out, before the clock hits 0. So you got to figure out what you want to do in life. That's going to be number 1. Why is that important? When you have a clear goal in life, it's easy for you to make the best decisions for your life. It's easy for you to kind of see ahead of you the different choices and paths that you can take, like a branching storyline in real life, except for you. In video games, you are intensely focused on accomplishing a goal. You know where you are, you know where you're trying to go, and you know instinctively as a player that you have to get good, you have to master this mechanic, you have to raise that stat, because you know that at the end of it you have to be something before you can accomplish something. So having a goal is important because it gives you it gives you deeper insight into what you need to be and what you need to do in order to make the appropriate decisions, to take the proper steps in getting towards your goal. Now, real life is not quite exactly like a video game, because in a video game, there are do-overs, there are continues, there are hacks, things of that nature. But that's not real life. But let me tell you something about real life. Real life is not as constricting. It is, in most instances, not quite as brutal. Regularly, you're probably, not going to wake up and your whole town, your whole village has been overrun by the demon lord. You're not gonna lose all your limbs and then have to regain them in most instances. And most of you are going to have some type of support system. Maybe not the best, don't get me wrong, but you have some kind of support system, right? A bit of a cushion, a safety net, if you will, that is going to be there in place to not only catch you if you fall, but also to serve as a trampoline to spring you forward. And all you really have to do to find out where that safety net is, where that support is put your goals out there, right? Put your goals out there, and the people, the things, the places that need to manifest, that you need to manifest, right, that need to come to actualization in your life will come to actualization, because you can't pursue something, you can't chase a goal without eventually running into people that are going to be on the same path as you, have the same ideas as you, right? Birds of a feather flock together. But you will only ever be able to get to that place, find those people, and know what you have to do if you set and establish a clear and concise goal, right? Something that you are absolutely trying to accomplish. And one thing I want to add to that, I'm not talking about the final goal of your life, like I can do this and then I'm on to glory. I'm just talking about the next goal, right? What's next, right? You did this today. What about tomorrow, right? Do you have a plan for tomorrow? If you have a goal, long-term, short-term, so long as you have that goal in mind and it's clear, right, then everything else, hopefully, will fall in line eventually. Number 2, mechanics. Every game has mechanics, and mechanics are basically the method by which you play the game, or the rules that make up the game itself. So there are games that are turn-based, meaning they're more strategy driven. You gotta wait a turn, you gotta think ahead, you gotta see what the opponent's gonna do. There are those games. And there are action games, right, where you just run in mashing buttons and hope for the best. There are puzzle games, right, where you have to spend time thinking about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. What's the goal of this stage? But in life, right, the mechanics are a little more foggy, right? But they're not so foggy that they're impossible to understand. So let's talk about the mechanics of life and why it's important for gamification. Life is very much like a simulator, or The Sims. In The Sims, your character wakes up, has all these different metrics, all these different attributes that you're trying to keep track of. Your character has a limited amount of time. Your character has all of these different constraints that make up the mechanics of their life. And the same thing is true with your life. The first mechanic is there are 24 hours in the day, right? We all have the same 24 hours. And what you do with your 24 hours may not be what the next person does with their 24 hours. Almost nobody's going to do the same thing exactly with their 24 hours, right? but you have 24 hours in the day. The second mechanic is decision making. You get to decide what to do with that 24 hours, and you only get 24 hours to make that decision, make those decisions for the day. So what does that look like? My alarm clock goes off, I wake up, I say, another hour, right? Comparatively to maybe a different version of me where I know that I want to wake up, I get to sleep early, and I set my alarm clock, and by some stroke of luck, I beat my alarm clock awake. And so rather than saying, oh, I'm gonna hit snooze and go back to bed, I say, hey, I'm up early, let's get to it. So those types of things, that's a decision. Another decision, hey, I want to lose weight, right? My friends want to go out and eat, right? The place that we're going to has delicious food. You have a decision whether or not you want to dig into all of that good food. And that's easy to do because it's delicious, right? But then you also have the decision to decide, hey, look, I know this food's delicious, but I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna cut back, right? Even if I don't necessarily cut out all the things that I eat, I cut back on the portion sizes if I don't change the things that I eat. So decisions, right? I have this goal that I want to accomplish, but I also want to watch TV. Decisions. Do you want to watch TV or do you want to accomplish your goal? It's really up to you. But that's the second mechanic. You got to make a decision with the 24 hours that you have. The third mechanic, and although people may not necessarily, people may not agree, but I'll tell you what, I haven't found anybody that has figured out a way to pass this particular mechanic. And that is, life is a team sport. No man or woman is an island. You don't do things in the vacuum of space and accomplish or achieve results. You are not going through life alone. And any decision that you make is ultimately going to affect or be affected by somebody within your immediate environment. So what does that mean? You need to find a party. In role-playing games, a party is a group or a team of individuals that are in alignment with your goal. Hopefully. Hopefully all of them are. Sometimes one of them isn't, but you'll figure that out hopefully sooner than later. But they're in alignment with your goals, and they go along with you on this path, on this adventure, on this journey, on this endeavor to try to fulfill that goal. Now, everybody has their own goal, but ultimately they all converge at a single point where it makes sense for everybody to come together and work together to get a thing done. On the job, right, you have coworkers. Your coworkers each have tasks that they are individually responsible for. And so you accomplish those tasks separately, but on the same team trying to accomplish the same goal. So your coworkers would kind of be like your party in the adventure of keeping your company afloat and having a job to pay bills. So that's kind of what I'm talking about when I say you need to have a team, you need to have a party, a small, even if it's one other person, right? One other person that your ideas or your beliefs come together, right? And you're able to kind of bounce energy off of one another to keep each other motivated. Because life, like I said, is a team sport. Even in a video game, There are very, very, very few video games, right, where there's just one character and no interactions with any other type of sentient intelligence or person or entity, right? There always has to be someone around to at least give you perspective, at least in most games. And so 3 mechanics: 24 hours, decision making in those 24 hours, and a party to hopefully amplify those decisions. Number 3, having a way to track your goals, your activity. In video games, you keep a journal. I mean, in a lot of games, you know, especially RPGs, there's kind of a journal feature that allows you to keep track of what you've done so that you know what it is that you need to do. And in the gamification process of this in real life action RPG, simulation, strategy, horror game, you really need a way to keep track of your goals, your activities. And that is just as important as all the rest of them, right? Maybe even more so. Not more important than, no, they're all equally important. Because you have to have a goal, you have to know the mechanics of the game, and you have to be able to keep track of your progress. Keeping track of your progress is going to help you acknowledge when you're making progress, even if it's not a lot of progress, right? Just being able to say that, hey, I moved from level 1 to level 1.5, right? In video game terminology. Or being able to say, hey, I haven't dropped all 100 pounds, but I've dropped 1 pound. Or, you know, I didn't do as many paintings last week, but I did 1 more painting this week. Or I played 1 note differently on my instrument. Or I hit 1 beat properly in this dance. 1 more, just being able to say, hey, I'm a little further than I was yesterday because I can see it in front of me and see what I've done, right? Does wonders for moving towards your goal. Someone once said, if you make 1% progress today, right, then you are infinitely closer to your goal than you were yesterday. Now, who said that? I don't know, because I just made it up on the spot. I said what I said. Ultimately, what that means is having a way to keep your progress in front of you, whether it's on a sheet of paper, whether it's on an app. It gives you perspective into the fact that you're actually getting closer to your goals, and that keeps you encouraged, because some people have really lofty goals, and sometimes it feels like you're not making the type of progress that you want to. Sometimes it feels like your goal's just getting further and further away. But if you can see that you have been doing things to make progress, and whether or not you can feel the weight of that progress, whether or not it's manifested in the way that you think it could have, right? You should know that you're not where you started. And that's important. Anyways, guys, that's what I'm doing. And that's what I believe that something that you can do if you want to gamify your life. So I'm Matt D. I'm just an old guy that plays video games and wants to live a good life. And, you know, I'm into fantasy and stuff like that. But if you're wanting to see some of the things that I'm doing, firstly, like, share, and subscribe if you're interested. But I'm also going to have a Patreon. I have a Patreon that I'm putting together right now, and it is going to be for people that are interested in gamifying life. I'm going to do more videos like this, going into further detail about things. For my Patreon members, I'm going to have different access to different things, like a private chat. You'll be able to do poll voting on different things that I'm going to be doing. My life is going to be an RPG, and I need some side quests, and I need people that believe in those types of things that will be willing to support me in accomplishing those things. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, being part of a guild of adventurers, of heroes, in my case, F-class loser, then check me out on Patreon and see if you're interested in supporting, a man who wants to bring gamification, self-improvement movement to the world. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you. If you made it to the end, I don't know if you can leave a controller on YouTube, but if you did, leave a fire emoji. In any case, guys, thanks for stopping by. I'm Matt D, FCL for F-class loser, and I'll see you in the next episode, next season, next stage. I like that better. See you on the next stage.